Hello, and welcome to this episode of Realizing Revenues. Hi, I'm Victoria Lubnick, Vice President of Business Development at Wealth Access. The purpose of these episodes is to talk with industry leaders about real-life business challenges and then to understand how technology can help meet the demands of modern customers and to ultimately help you realize revenues. Today, I'm joined by Mary Morgan, who is founder of Financial Shop Solutions. Mary, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
So we have been working together for 14 years.
14 years.
14 years, long time. So you have helped us always research and have an industry perspective on what other firms and competitors are offering in terms of products and pricing. And then we're able to use that. We have been able to use that in terms of recommending solutions for our clients along the line. So you've always been our go-to industry leader in terms of what's happening for financial trends in the wealth management space and in the banking space. So thank you for being that partner for us over the years.
Thank you for the opportunity to help you all. We started Financial Shop Solutions in 2008. We provide competitive intelligence to banks and other financial institutions concerning their products and services, the features, functionality, and pricing of those products and services in order to help them stay competitive and increase their fee income.
Great. And knowing that you are providing services across a variety of lines of business, again, wealth management, trust, consumer, business, commercial, what have you seen to be the most common requests that you're getting today from clients? And has that changed because of the pandemic? Has it shifted from one line of business from what you used to be seeing to a different line of business today?
We have definitely seen a trend in small business and business related requests. We feel like in the last 2 years, banks were mainly focused on their remote services, their mobile banking, their online services, and even their customer service lines in order to continue to communicate with their clientele while their branches were closed. So they kind of put everything else, we feel, on a back burner. And now they're coming out, and all of our requests, literally all of our requests in the last 3 months have been business lending, treasury management services, and even like the basic deposit products, checking, savings. There's a big emphasis on that, especially small businesses. Small businesses were, especially hurt during the pandemic. And without them having a line of communication, it hurt them even more, a line of communication with their banks. So we've seen a major emphasis in the trends in small business.
That's interesting, especially because I know historically your requests have been in the wealth management trust space. So do you think that is highlighting that financial institutions are seeing the area of growth and are trying to focus more on small business, or they feel like the pandemic highlighted that they weren't necessarily delivering the services or connecting with their small business customers like they wanted to?
I believe it may be both, but I believe it's more that the small businesses are now voicing their concerns of, hey, what about us? We need lending. If we're going to stay alive, we need to be able to access funds. We need our cash flow. We need to increase our cash flow. We need to concentrate on, bringing in receivables quicker, making our payments quicker to hopefully get like some vendor discounts. So there's a need. Small businesses are making their voices heard, and I believe banks are finally listening to them.
Yeah,
this has been a problem for small businesses for quite a while. Me being a small business, I know how frustrating it is, the lack of the lack of customer service and the lack of interest in helping my business grow. And as a banking standpoint, it's frustrating. And I feel like other small businesses are voicing their frustrations also.
Yeah. Well, and I recently read an article that said that while around 76% of small business owners said they'd like to receive financial advice from their financial institution, only 15% feel like they're actually getting that comprehensive guidance from their bank. And that's something that we're seeing at Wealth Access too, that financial institutions are wanting to focus more on being able to provide a solution to small business owners to see a consolidated view of their personal finances and business finances in one spot, and to try to help simplify that managing of their finances for those business owners, and to try to do more.
That is definitely something that we have well been aware of, that the small businesses are not, or businesses as a whole are not seeing the attention that they need from their banks. Whether they're a current client or a potential client, the focus is more on, what do you want? What are you doing? What are you currently doing? Let me put together a proposal. Instead of sitting down and discussing with your prospects, how are you currently receiving your payments? How are you paying your vendors? Getting a good understanding of how they're doing it, so you can recommend services. So if a business is still using and writing checks or using online bill pay, recommend the ACH services. But we're seeing a lot of, just like I said, what are you currently using? Here's our proposal. See you later. And even really honestly, just getting a banker on the phone, it's taking a much longer time for inquiries to be addressed through appointment setting software. Whether you go into the branch, whether you call, it just takes forever to get connected to somebody that's helping you. And then once you do get that connection, are they willing to help you? And how far will they go? And it always starts with a needs assessment.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it sounds like that's a service differentiator for financial institutions, is being able to, one, make the financial team accessible for that small business owner to be able to contact, and then sitting down and actually having that comprehensive relationship discussion with them, rather than just a product discussion and then sending them on their way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And if a banker could have a full view of what the business, the business, their financials, it would be so much easier for them to be able to make these recommendations. Because even a business may not even know what they have based on what their bank has put together for them, because there's not a lot of communication between the bankers and the business. So having a full view of a business or personal financials is going to help banks understand what their client currently has, and what you can, and how they can help their client moving forward.
Yeah. Well, and we have found, to your point, that an institution offering wealth access is an efficiency play for those relationship managers, the bankers, the advisors, more so because today a lot of them have to go to various systems to piece together what that client relationship looks like, just because a lot of the systems don't talk. And so being able to have a comprehensive or a more seamless view of what all those different products and services are that a small business owner is using, it saves them time. And then they're able to just go to that one spot, access the information, see their relationship, and then be able to be equipped and knowledgeable to then approach that business owner with what that recommended plan or additional recommended services could be.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's key, to be able to see that, because again, business owners are, they're experts in the field of their business. They're not experts in banking. So if, a banker approaches a prospect and says, what is it that you're using? Your businesses may not even know. I write checks, I pay bills. They won't even know. Some of them, they won't even know what they're using. And some of them don't even know what they should be using. So that's where bankers need to educate their prospects and their clients, and being able to see the full view of the financials is an excellent way to start.
Okay. You made an interesting comment earlier about small business owners still writing checks. What percentage would you say of small business owners are still writing checks?
I've been quoted about 85%, which is awfully high to me. But given our experience, A lot of times when you go in, your first point of contact, if you're a business and you want to open an account, your first point of contact is a branch. And the branch people, the branch personnel know how to write a check. They don't know about ACH. They don't know about remote deposit. They don't know about those specialized services that banks have to offer their clients. So they're just pigeonholed into a checking account with check writing abilities, and that's it. So 85%, while it still sound like a high number, I do understand why. Needs assessments go a long way in helping bankers understand what their prospect or even their current clients, what they use and what they could be using. So how do you would ask your prospect, how do you currently pay your bills? And they would probably say, I'm writing a check, or I do online bill pay. That would help open up. Okay, so, ACH, you can use ACH payments. So those needs assessments are critical to understand how a business pays their bills and receives their payments, plus opens up that cross-selling opportunity. You don't want to just say, oh, do you need merchant services? You don't even know if they take credit cards. So you should start by asking them questions about their business and how they are currently doing things in order to educate yourself on what you can recommend. You don't want to recommend something that, a business doesn't need, because then you're back to square one of your business, your prospect not understand that you actually care about them and winning their business. You're just going through the motions.
So then will you create that needs assessment? Will you go in and shop that needs assessment for financial institutions and help identify maybe where the discrepancy is between what some of the personnel at the institution are offering and pitching to clients versus what they should be pitching? Or are you creating that needs assessment for clients to then use with the financial institution clients?
Okay, so some of the services that we would offer is a sales experience service. So not only do banks and financial institutions compete on pricing, they compete on how the personnel obtains the business. What do they say? There's the whole sales experience, the whole customer journey. That is what banks are competing against. It's not all just price. If it all was just price, that would be easy. You just lower your price $1 less than everybody else and you're winning all this business. But it's not. It's based on how you present your services and how comfortable you make your prospects feel about whether or not you are capable or even want their business.
Yeah.
So, starting with a needs assessment is great. And that's what we look for when we send our businesses in for their for their surveys and to see if this bank might be working for them. The first thing that they want to see, and what any business wants to see, is, do they have a rapport? Can they trust these people? And if you're bringing them live information, real information about their business and expressing a real interest in your prospect's business, common sense is going to tell you you're going to win it every single time. If you're just going through the motions and trying to, just move paperwork around, they don't get that nice, cozy feeling.
Let me ask, what % of institutions would you say actually do a needs assessment in some regard and have an idea of, and do a shopping experience where they have an understanding if for a new prospect coming in, what is the branch personnel or the financial institution personnel? How are they communicating the value proposition and their products and services and helping to try to win that business? How many institutions would you say do that?
Based on my experience, less than 1%.
Okay.
Seriously, I cannot remember the last time our businesses reported that they received a proper needs assessment or even any type of needs assessment. Generally, especially when you go into the branches do not understand that there's a whole different level to go send these businesses to. If a branch service like a checking and savings, obviously all businesses need to start with that. But when you move on, towards payments and cash flow and what have you, you've got to move them up. So the branch personnel are not even trained to do that. So they're not even getting the attention they need in the branches. If they do get from somebody else, and they struggle and they try to, and they finally get to treasury management is just not doing their job, either because they're overwhelmed, they don't know, or, I'm not quite sure what is happening out there, but this is what we're seeing. Hardly any needs assessment. Just, send me the last 2 months of your statements and I'll put together a proposal for you. And literally you could have a 3-minute conversation with a banker and that they think that that's great. Businesses obviously don't think that that's great. They want to know more. They want to be educated, and they want to make sure that they're putting their business in hands of somebody who is looking out for their best interest.
Yeah. Okay. And going back to something you mentioned earlier in terms of lending needs, that's something that is always top of mind for small business owners. What are you seeing in terms of trends in terms of lending?
Yeah, with the fluctuations of interest rates nowadays, we have seen a few banks get a little bit creative with their lending process. So, generally a business line of credit is based off of prime, which it still is. But, with a line of credit, if it's based off of prime, every time prime goes up, obviously your customer's line of credit rate goes up. So a lot of banks are putting together what they call a fixed line of credit, and it starts as a fixed line of credit based on interest rates today. And then the length of the loan or the line is generally between 6 months and a year, where you would reapply for this line of credit and get an interest rate based off of what is being currently offered today. So that will help them, not struggle every 2 months with an increase like we've been seeing of 75 basis points. Their interest rate is not going up every 3 months. It's only going up once a year. So that's something that we've seen starting to trend out there as far as small business lending.
Wow. So that could put a lot on the small business owners in terms of having to put their hands on those documents every 6 months or 12 months, every time they want to reapply for that loan, and have to resubmit their personal financial statement, tax returns, all of that. Okay. That's an advantage, or that's a benefit of Wealth Access, is we have a digital document vault where they can keep their personal financial statement, their tax returns. And so if their documents are updated or relevant, or even if they wanted to re-upload those, they can have those readily handy, and they could submit those through the digital document vault through to their banker relationship manager. So that would help streamline that process for them.
Oh, that would be a major time saver. And also because, as we all know, the easier things are, the more we will do them. If it's an arduous process, we're not going to be as on top of that. So, as far as getting all of those documents, that's going to be an easy fix for, everybody.
So Mary, you mentioned that a lot of business owners feel, and I quoted that study earlier, where a lot of business owners feel like it's mostly transactional advice and not really the comprehensive advice that they're looking for. So how do you feel that financial institutions can better benefit from utilizing technology to help improve the sales experience or cross sales opportunities?
The new technology that you're talking about that allows a banker to see a complete picture of either their prospects or their clients' financials is a game changer. It makes the process so much easier for the bankers and also for the businesses, because again, businesses are not experts at banking. Bankers are experts at banking. And to be able to give a banker a full picture of what a prospect or client has is going to be, like I said, a game changer as far as recommending projects, making your business client feel comfortable because you have a handle on what they have, what they need, and they'll have a bigger comfort level and offer more business to those banks.
Yeah. Well, and something that we're seeing from financial institutions too is trying to better tap into the small business customer base that they already have within their institution, and then identify those cross-sale opportunities into the wealth business, either to help more deeply grow that wealth relationship, or to identify potential new wealth relationships as that business owner grows their investments or looks to exit the business and then has that influx of wealth there too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that we're seeing institutions wanting to better tap into the business segment for cross-sell opportunities, and Wealth Access would help them do that.
Yeah, I mean, business and wealth kind of go hand in hand and always have in the banking industry. You know, a lot of the private bankers are also business bankers. So it's a natural flow to tap into your businesses to increase your wealth business, and vice versa, tap into your wealth to increase your business. They go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think historically the business side of a bank and the wealth side of the bank haven't always worked well together?
I think every branch of the bank has difficulty working with each other because they don't know and they don't see everything that is available. So, you know, we've gone into branches to talk about a checking account, and the checking account is with the private bank and not necessarily with the retail. You still have to service those private banks, but if you don't have access to that information, you can't help them. And I think that's where the disconnect is between each of the divisions. They don't know what the other division is doing or offering, or what their customer even has in that division.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, and that's something that we're trying to help with at Wealth Access, is to be able to provide that 360 customer view to all lines of business. So then the entire organization can leverage that information to do more and drive deeper relationships.
Yes, that technology is going to be a game changer for cross-selling opportunities for any business banker or wealth banker or retail banker. If they have access to this, there's nothing that they can't do for their clients. So
this is going to be a hard question, Mary, but if you had a crystal ball, because you've been tracking banking trends for years and years, what do you think are going to be some of the top trends or some of the top focuses that institutions are going to want to move to, or what are going to be some of your top requests that you get over the next 3 to 5 years?
3 to 5 years, more emphasis on small business. As far as corporate business, I think that banks have everything that they need to take care of them, and they need to start focusing on small business. I think they're starting to realize that. So small business requests and wealth management with the growth of, hybrid robo-advisors and what have you. Wealth management is just going to increase. We're getting more and more millionaires every day, from what I understand. So that is definitely going to increase business in the wealth management field. And then there's also, as I mentioned, the small business.
Okay. And highlight the need for the continued needs assessment and sales
Absolutely.
expertise. Yeah, to help differentiate.
Absolutely. You have no idea how to help your customer unless you know what your customer needs and does. And if you don't have access to what your customer has, and you're going to rely on them to tell you. And if they're not, as I said, they're not experts in banking, you're not going to get the full picture.
All right. So a couple fun questions for you, Mary.
Okay.
What's your favorite place you've ever traveled?
Oh my goodness. The favorite place I ever traveled was probably San Francisco.
It's a good location. All right.
Yeah,
What's your drink of choice?
Chardonnay
All
or
right.
Pinot Grigio wine.
Okay. What's your favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Christmas coming up.
I know.
Yeah. And then I know you live in Florida, so do you prefer the beach or the mountains?
The mountains.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's a destination for you.
Destination. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And as we are officially in fall, NFL or college football?
NFL, Buccaneers.
Buccaneers. You're a
Tampa
Brady fan.
Bay. I
Are you
am.
a Brady fan?
I am a fan. I'm a diehard fan of Bucks. So even when we were not winning, I loved them.
Okay.
When we win, I love them. And when we're kind of winning, like we are now, I still love them.
Okay. All right. That's same with me and the Bengals.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
It's been some rough years for me, but yeah.
So you get it. You
I
understand.
get it. I get it. All right. Well, Mary, thank you very much for your
you.
time. Very insightful to see what you're seeing in the industry in terms of banking trends.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.